Good evening to all. I am Rich Red here with Kenobi, bringing you the Prospect Cup All-Star matchup between this Eastern and Western teams. And Kenobi, we have a very interesting team lineup between these both, don't we?
Yeah, we do have a really interesting lineup, like you mentioned, Rich. We are in All Stars, so the votes have been casted and the votes have been chosen to the players that are going to be playing in this match specifically. And the interesting thing is that we have a little bit of a setup for one of the playoff games that's going to be coming to us next week, Rich. As you mentioned, there is an interesting wrinkle with both of these teams is that on one side, you have four players that are on Nocturnal, and on the other side, you have four players that are on Lunaris.
Mm-hmm.
And those teams are going to be meeting in the first round of the playoffs. So this is a little bit of an appetizer of what we can see from both of these teams. Obviously, it's not going to be the same as when it's a 6v6, but it is a little bit of a funny scenario that we get this all-star game right now, and then we're going to be going into our playoffs, and in the first round, Nocturnal will be fighting.
Absolutely. It's like the mozzarella sticks before you get your main dish, which is a beautiful
Okay.
lasagna.
We
So
need to not talk about food at all, Rich, because I am so hungry right now.
um
As much as
I
I'd
don't know.
love to, like, mozzarella sticks also, like, S tier in terms of, like, an appetizer, right? Like, I think we can agree there.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. It's also all about the marinara sauce. I mean, that's what we're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna see
Yep.
how this plays out between these two. Who's got the better marinara sauce for this type of appetizer? But yes, indeed, as you said, they will be featured first between these two. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they kind of play because we've also seen some subtle adjustments to what's been played typically a little bit more in the meta.
Mhm.
We've seen some dive kind of roll in versus where we've seen a lot of the Orisa Sigma synergizing with the Ashe and the Genji. So now there's some adjustment into that dive, and I'm really curious to see what these two teams are going to bring to the table here.
And we have to remember a little bit, Rich, this is an all-star game, so there might be some different compositions that we see. Maybe not gonna stick so strictly towards the meta before in the chat for both of these teams. We saw a little bit of, you wanna play meta, you wanna play something else, and then I think they've agreed on playing some different compositions, and if that Bastion at the start, it's not gonna there's no that's a little bit too far gone.
I mean,
But
it's
it
a little
might
too far gone, but you could see it. I mean,
You
it's
could.
the All-Star game. Anything can happen.
Yeah. So, I mean, as you can see already for the West side, definitely a composition that I haven't seen in a very long time or at all. It is going to be the Hammond and the Roadhog. That is a tank composition that we've seen a little bit of favor, but paired with the Soldier and the Junkrat, something that is a little bit different more so.
Absolutely. Look at this reposition as well. The legs on the high ground by Light going to get some decent damage overhead along with the sustainability from Pure on that Roadhog. This pincer maneuver maintaining that high ground and rotation has really allowed Western to take this swiftly despite the few kills coming out by Eastern. And this is going to be an easy pickup after these stragglers just get taken down with the beautiful hook onto the Tracer to take this first map.
Yeah, and I actually like this composition from the West team and their rollout there. They have a really nice rotation. They put some members on the high ground and do some damage, but Rich, they're coming back from the east side onto this point that Reinhardt's insanely low.
Absolutely getting picked off almost instantly after that hook comes through, but the supports are there to keep alive. Nox sticking very close and utilizing that utility from the Lucio to try and weave around this center pillar, but this harassed by the Wrecking Ball and also giving distance to both Chopper and Light on the 76 and Junkrat are really boding well for Western. You have the minefield now available for Pair to zone out anyone else, and really this is such a staggered play from Eastern, really not being able to get onto this point to compete.
Ooh, the Pulse Bomb almost is able to get Chopper, but not just. Their Coalescence is coming in, Rich. The sustain is there for the East team.
Now that you've got the Dragon Blade to follow up after the Coalescence, there is a chance to use that as well, being a little bit hesitant here since ultimates are now coming out and forced from Western. Noctis gonna get picked off in the back though, no longer having that Mercy for sustainability, and these ultimates start to favor Eastern, and they have that numbers dominance now to most likely carry these ultimates into another fight, but there's so much sustain from Western.
And they're committing ultimates to this as well, Rich. The West just trying to get as much percentage as possible using that Tactical Visor. I haven't heard that ultimate name in such a long time, I almost forgot.
I know, you had the subtle hesitation there to realize it's actually come true, as we now finally see Eastern take this and start to gain some percent of their own.
Okay, so very scrappy, elongated fight there from the West, and a pick onto the Moira actually is going to be an advantage now for the West, but here's the Dragon Blade.
Coming in the back line, looking to try and get the supports, does get the Widowmaker and manage to get Noctis on this Moira, the follow-up, but the Mayhem will shut down the Genji play, but ultimately that's still going to allow some percentage gain by Eastern.
Going to be waiting for East to accrue their percentages, take their position right now on the point. Dragon Blade was the only thing that they used besides the D.Va Bomb, so pretty good ultimate economy on their side, especially from the sustain aspect with their supports where they have the Coalescence and they have the Sound Barrier. The West not even close to any of those ultimates, and the West have actually switched their DPS over to a more, I would say, meta DPS composition right now.
And it's going to give a lot more versatility, I think, to their engagement towards the back line. Pure, though, getting extremely low, having to take a breather and tuck in the corner, but cannot survive. The melee dagger slash by the Genji play will secure that tank line reduction in numbers. And now you actually see East playing very well since they've managed to dominate and take control of this point.
Actually gonna get the kill on the Moira as well, so that's more time that's going to be taken off the clock here in East. Again, doing the spawn camp right now. I love how aggressive they're being here, Rich. Is just milking percentage for them upwards. And they're going to have to get to a point right now for the West where you're going to get one last shot at this with 70% or 80% rather on the card.
And with these mass amount of ultimates available, you have the Minefield leading in first. Torbjorn turret in the back by Light. Interesting selection, going to use it as the whole hog gets thrown out. But here comes the Sound Barrier Dragon Blade to be just in range, trying to get through the Coalescence. Finally does work through all of that extra healing. And now you actually have East in a beautiful position to shut down the final few remaining members as the Stragglers with the spin to win concept attempting to stick on this point, but it will no longer last. The D.Va praying for a tune, but the overtime will whittle away sooner or later, and this is really just an uphill battle for West.
Oh, there is the Dragon Blade, though, but Chopper gets immediately annihilated by his counterpart in the Genji, and these are just stragglers, Rich, coming onto the point. Not really much that can be done, and the East is going to take that first part of Nepal here, and it was a very scrappy fight from the West that entire time. They did kind of hinder their ultimate economy a lot when they were using a lot of those ultimates to try and stall, and then once that was happening, East kind of just took hold of the game, never really let it go, getting all the way to that 100% and taking that first part of Nepal.
And I think the ability for West to claim it so early and how almost uncoordinated their play was, it was so all over the place that you really didn't have East managing to understand exactly what to tackle first. But once West was on the point, managing to keep that space, West was able to respond, download that play style, and then take it right back.
East here, they're going to be sticking with the Genji and the Tracer, again, a combination that has seen a lot of favor recently. And West, Light locking the legs again, Rich, you love to see it. That Hammond is going to get obliterated, and now it's an advantage for the West side. But pair goes down, so it's even.
And you've got Light doing this rotation once again on that middle high ground, finding a nice play. Gets a pick with the Helix Rocket. Beautiful timing on that. Could not fade fast enough from Nolan. And now the numbers start to favor West with a transition down to the point. A few of East on that upper position has a chance to rotate down, but the point is already going to be claimed by West.
That was so well played there from Light. A nice Helix Rocket, but Anho coming back, getting 2 kills. One of the healers is down and Chopper going down as well. This should realistically be West taking back this point, or East rather, taking back this point, as West only get 13%, so it's kind of what we saw in that first map where West has a really good opening, but we'll see if they can take this map back from the jaws of the East now that East has control.
Absolutely, and you've got that now Cook to bring the D.Va close, but not enough follow-up here to shut out of that mech. Still generating some decent ults here. You've got the Dragon Blade entering into the back with the Coalescence to coexist with one another, but there is still a lot of pressure. Light able to find the pick before the Blade can really gain any value. And again, these scrappy fights between the two, it is a no-holds-bar between this East and West team, and you can just see now East still continue to climb, but at least West giving some decent counter to try and draw attention back to the point.
And with PG1 down, that's going to mean the Soldier here is going to be able to get a lot of value. No defense matrix to eat the shots from that Soldier. So this could be a moment where West has an advantage.
Yeah, West actually going to use that tactical visor across on the high ground, not seeing too much to counter it, and you can see with that double kill, it does prevail, and this point is just seconds away from being swapped, but both tanks are still residing close to this point to give some harass, but ultimately, and a beautiful hook! Remove it from the point! Oh my goodness.
That mech got whipped into, went to go find Mondada's gold, but there was nothing there. Again, the fight's still going on. Rich is scrappy as ever. Here's the Dragon.
And that Dragon Blade will look to clean up, but the sound barrier from Nox is in reply. Will get a instant hook, though, in the side cam to shut him out. No longer available for assistance and healing. And there goes Zemrit with an unfortunate fate.
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, it's a reset. We'll call it a reset. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt there, Rich. And we're seeing, I mean, the West comp seems to be working a little bit better on this map in particular. Now they're the ones who have the hold of that point. Pulse bomb available for Zemrit. They can end the fight before it even starts with a nice pulse on one of the supports here.
Oh, but Chopper being so low, getting that hook landed by the opponent, PG1, makes this a numbers advantage for East to start aggressing, but equalizing by Light in the back, really finding much value on this high ground with that 76 and using the zone for healing and having to just really use the minefield as well to try and survive through all the damage. Akash gonna get the kill, and really it's still gonna be percentage gained by West trying to sustain through this with East.
West, though, it's gonna last fight territory here for the East. The Dragon Blade's coming out from Ondo. He gets Chopper.
Oh, and is there more follow-up? No, the pile drive says otherwise, and an even exchange on the counterpart by Akash.
Goodbye.
It is, yeah, goodbye. We're just both acknowledging that there is going to be environmental kills here, friend, and it's going to be switched back miraculously at 96% from West.
East able to hold it out here, regain control of that point, but West, they're coming back. They have the Dragon Blade available, and as you can see, there is also the tactical visor. There is no D.Va on the other side, so this tac visor could get a lot more value than it has been in the past.
And you can see this backline rotation from West with Pear on the wrecking ball, and you've got Zemrit acknowledging it, keeping an eye to know exactly where that ball is going to come in from, especially because it's nearing that minefield, getting a nice knockback onto the supports, but so much damage being pumped in. You've already got a couple kills going in favor of Eastern right now. Western in a difficult position these last 10 seconds. There's really no opportunity for West to really get a solid 6 regroup, and the hook to shut down Pear, but survives with a sliver of health. Oh, there's the boop. I say otherwise. Oh!
Nice haul. I don't think it's going to matter, Rich, unfortunately, though. Unless Light here pops off completely with this Soldier tac visor. There is also a Dragon Blade. This might not be over.
Chopper going up top to try and secure a potential switch over, but it's not going to happen. West will not prevail. The staggers a second time around, as we saw in the first round of this map, but East will be able to claim this control from this East to West battle lineup. Oh, man.
Well, I think we've learned something here, Rich. East Coast, best coast. We don't have to play the rest of these. Just have East is just the best coast.
I mean, you could say East Coast, best coast, but West Coast, win coast? I mean, it's, winning the battle versus the war. I'm going to try and be positive here. We're going to try and throw some of that in the midst of it all. But, I mean, honestly, it has been stellar play from both these teams so far, and we're only on this control point. And like you talked about, it's a nice little appetizer to seeing the full roster of these teams coming back once we get into those quarterfinals. But, I mean, going into this, you are right making a comment about how West is able to put their best foot forward, but unfortunately gets tilted and just slightly maneuvered back when East is able to accept what type of tactic West is looking to play.
Yeah, I think East played really well there, specifically when they had control of the point a lot of the time. Like, there were moments where there were some little oversteps from the West side that was very easily punished by the East. Like, to mention when Chopper was playing basically on death's door against a Roadhog, and the Roadhog just hooks him, They get the kill, they take the point after that. So things like that, I think, are really hindering the West a little bit here in this matchup. But the East, they're looking pretty good. We saw some legs. I haven't seen that character in such a long time. I didn't even know what to call his ultimate because I had forgotten, because I hadn't seen it in. So
it's okay.
I hope we continue to see some of these more interesting wrinkles into these compositions. We did see a lot of Genji, which kind of makes sense because Genji, obviously, the best hero probably in the game right now. Maybe Orisa, but right now it's looking like Genji is king above all other DPS, and then the other DPS is, can be whatever. Ash,
mean,
Soldier,
yeah,
Tracer.
I was gonna say that's the part that I was almost surprised not seeing. I thought we would see a little bit more of the Ash, and again, going into this all-star matchup, we can see something being a little bit unique. But Ash has just been working so well with Genji in the most recent play that we've seen in compositions. And we're going to go into this next map of Numbani, where there's a little bit more of a longer sight line. You also have a very difficult and one of the most challenging third points to push through underneath that archway. What do you think we're going to see between these two teams? I mean, it's going to be a guess, but I'm just thinking, there's got to be some kind of rhyme or reason here.
Yeah, it could be anything. I mean, this is, again, like an all-star game, so it might not be just the most insane, like, we're going to stick to meta compositions. We did shoulder a lot in that last matchup, like I mentioned. But here, Ash, definitely we could see it kind of hinders on if they want to play Orisa, because I think Ash has a lot of her value perpetrated by Orisa because of the ability to halt Dynamite and things like that, and you have a shield to play behind. So if Orisa is seen, then we might see some Ash specifically on this map. But again, they hovered Bastion, I just saw. That's a possibility. We could see the pirate ship. We haven't seen that in quite a long time, Rich. Anything can happen on this map in Numbani with both of these teams as we're going to be assembling our heroes, and we'll see what our defense is going to be coming out with first. It does look like it's going to be Genji, obviously. You know, why even bother thinking that it's not going to be Genji at this point?
Why think otherwise? But we've got Zemrit with the Junkrat, and I do like that, especially if there is some shield type compositions. But both, even though we don't know exactly what West is going to be coming out with just yet, there's still that inkling of dive in their thought process as well.
Yeah, and also Junkrat not terrible against the dive. I wouldn't call him like a great against dive, hero, like something like a McCree is, or sometimes a Mei as well. But if they are going to be going through a lot of these chokeholds, and Junkrat can get a lot of value with his grenades, with his minefield, with his traps, that is somehow that Zemrit could get a lot of value here. And on the other side, we're seeing, I was going to see Echo, but we're not going to be seeing Echo. It's actually going to be the Genji still. Widowmaker from Light. So a little bit of what we were talking about before, but you do have those sightlines that you can play around, and East are going to have to be very careful not to be in these guys' sightlines. We saw on that last map with DePaul, Light has some good aim and some good mechanics.
Yeah, and really, really has to respect that play from West on this attack. And on the high ground, you can already see Chop getting a lot of value, but with that displacement from the Dynamite and just the explosion radius from the Junkrat makes it really difficult to stick close. Chop, once again, getting pulled in, but barely surviving on the low ground. Numbers advantage here for West, already claiming 2 ticks amongst the chaos, and East being quite easily removed from this initial point.
West very easily takes that, Rich, and Zemrit actually going to be switching over to the Tracer. I think this is much better. Actually going Orisa along with it, so they are going to be switching up their composition almost full sail here as Anho assassinates Noctis. Nothing personnel, kid. I think Light take him down here, though. Oh, maybe not. Anho gonna survive. And the card isn't pushing throughout all of this, Rick.
No, it's literally just chilling. They're saying, is anybody going to give me some love, friends? I'm still here wanting to move. And all the while, there's just some great staggers going between these two. But there's 5 minutes to work with amongst all of this. So it's not like you're crunching for time by any means.
Is Anho gonna get out? He's actually gonna get out. He's just dueling Light here. Okay, Seismic Flame misses, and then he just dashes through him. There's the blade from Chopper. It's going all over the place right now, Rick.
Oh my goodness, bob and weave, friends. Bob and weave as Light goes right back in, and you've got Anho starting to demonstrate how the blade can still be valuable. Light is taken out finally amongst this exchange. 4 minutes and 40 seconds. You have West finally removing all of East off of that payload and gets a nice, decent amount of meters in these next push.
I mean, credit to Anho there. He did take a lot of time away from West as they are only getting halfway to point B here, and they had already in only a minute, and now we're seeing East come back in. There is a nice eat onto the halt, so there is no chance of a halt hook from the composition.
And with this decent amount of time, you've got now a numbers advantage for the defensive side. East will hold on this point. Light in the back still getting a lot of harassment. Almost gets the one-shot combination from that just unfortunate end with Nox getting the kill. And now a just nice respectful retreat here. West needs to be very careful and cognizant of how East is playing, and East is sure taking advantage of it.
Yeah, Light probably kicking himself right there. There's the Coalescence, though, committed, Rich, as West is trying to go in.
And with that whole hog available, not going to be using it. The sound barrier from West to secure this. The supercharger actually committed by East on the defensive side to boost that damage to work through the sound barrier. Light is utterly, well, I was going to say low, but now is dead and will not be able to stick around in that fight. 3 minutes and 25 seconds still to go, and West is having a real tough time right now.
West is having a pretty tough time. There is going to be some option for East to come back with that sound barrier that they have from Nox.
Yes, and it is going to now be a whole hog here up front, looking to reset it. There is still a good 3 minutes and 5 seconds still to go. But honestly, I mean, like we were just saying, it's going to be East managing to finally grab their foothold here, securing themselves, and being in a great position to compete against West.
It looks like I'm having some tech issues, Richard. This is going to be all you for right now.
No, you good. That is totally fine as we continue to see Zemrit now on the high ground, looking to compete. Ultimate available as Pure throws out that self-destruct. Light instantly low in the back, has to force the Meteor Strike and gets obliterated outright by PG1 on the hook. And with Coalescence up front continuing to still maintain this, PG is just having a field day with those supports boosting him in the back. And with this now, a decent 2 minutes and 20 seconds still on the clock at the moment here. I would really like to see West actually take a solid moment to regenerate their composure. I think there's just a lot of stagger. There is a lot of lack of coordination here where East is able to capitalize on it. There's also some need and necessity to generate ultimate charge as well from Chopper and Pear to really start using that to their advantage moving forward. As, you know, this defensive positioning still is going to be difficult because Anho comes in with the Dragon Blade, getting a pick onto the Sigma, and it is going to be absolutely critical for West to do something about it, but they just can't. And with how Anho is playing right now, especially on this Genji, is clinical. I mean, there has been no real contest against it, and this is one of those moments where I would almost like to see a little bit more crowd control adjustment because West has already lost so much time. There's a chance now to rotate and use that Brigitte for West to attempt to lock down that individual in the back. Pear gonna look to commit this Flux along with the Coalescence by Sluggo to maybe gain some momentum in this to shift against East. And honestly, I mean, it's just still coming up short. Zemrit with Anho being fueled by their support line and that just harass from the tank line is being detrimental to West. And now with these last few seconds remaining, 55 to go, you've got Noctis, the sole remaining member. Well, Pure as well does have the self-destruction. There's a couple of ultimates to their advantage to compete against East, but look at how far forward East is playing. There's a dash kill reset in mid-air onto Light, and this is further placing the nail in the coffin. 35 seconds. West is completely tucked in the corner and is just really challenging themselves to figure out a tactic to get out of these corridors. Anho goes down here. That is a chance, along with Zemrit. This is when West needs to take advantage. 20 seconds. The time is now. The sound barrier comes out and the aggression moves forward. Can this be enough to touch the point and start getting back into this fight? Self-destruct going to be blocked. Does still manage to get 2 though. Akash will be brought down. No tank line up front outside of PG1, but that take a breather is not going to be able to sustain through everything as Light gets the concussion mine and the picks come through. Entering into this overtime. West now starting to stabilize and finally have managed to get out of their spawn. And with this overtime, the longer this is going to last, the sooner it is going to deplete once these members of West are off the point. East, though, is going to be in a good position to get back as a full 6 to come towards this archway. Again, one of the most difficult points to rotate around on this map of Numbani, with also Zemrit looking for a potential flank. Flux going to come out to start from West. Riptire as well, looking to synergize between the two as a supercharger in the back line comes through. Anho gets taken out. This could still be a chance for West to push to this next checkpoint, but kills going both ways right now. Chopper gets a great follow-through on this Doomfist and is actually able to work so well in tandem in these last few meters to claim this next checkpoint. I mean, a minute and 30 seconds is not a lot truly to work with, but for the fact that West has managed to work through a 5-minute loss with how well East was playing to gain more time, push through that overtime, persevere through it, really giving them credit right now as this team continues to move in west with this Reinhardt now adjusting slightly along with Pear. No longer going to have the Orisa. Anho gets a kill onto Light. This is the difficult position. This angle right here, so challenging for West to push through, and they have to respect it. They're falling back. They're allowing East to get into this archway, making sure to stabilize. Sluggo gets an early lead onto Anho. That's a big focus at the present time to try and compete against this, and the numbers advantage actually still, regardless, going in favor of West. And you have now East looking to fall back and regroup, and it looks like I'm actually have lost my feed potentially as well, but we still keep it. As we now continue, 30 seconds still to go. This is the critical moments that West needs to try and compete against East. The whole hog is available to try and get a side angle onto East. And now with that nice pick from Light in the backside, Earthshatter comes out as well. West has to take advantage of this. They have found a window of opportunity, but Anho, on the other hand, says, I will prevent you from getting anywhere near that window, and is going to bring down this team of West. And with the slicing and dicing necessary, like a masterful chef in the kitchen, will be able to remove all the dirty parts of that celery stick and make sure that that is going to be a round completion here with not reaching the end. And I will say that looks like there is going to be some consistent issues at the present moment, so we will be going on to a brief break to try and see if we can resolve it here, and we are going to pause the game, so don't go anywhere, friends, because we appreciate you sticking around. Hello and welcome back, everybody, as we come partway back into this match with Reverse Size. We've got the amazing Kenobi back with us. Kenobi, and let's take a look at what's been going on right now.
Yes, I can see clearly now, Rich. The rain is all gone. The lag is all gone. We're finally on the next slide here, as there's a nice hook from PG1. Not going to get the kill just yet, but East is coming in with a 5-minute time bank going into the second point, and they don't need to get it even all the way to the last part. They just need to get 2.5 points.
Absolutely, and with this, BGI continuing to main this high ground. Doesn't get the hook onto it, but there's still a lot of action going in the backside towards the payload. And with Zemrit able to work with this Doomfist so well, with Anho looking for a consistent play on the front, Light, on the other hand, going to say, no, I can do some Genji plays as well. Gets a couple kills and manages to move forward with this.
Yeah, but PG1 actually gets a 3K off screen somehow, too, with the whole hog. And this East's ability to push this cart all the way to that second point and get even more time off of their time bank here, Rich.
Yeah, there's a real stagger with West in this position right now. Going to have to look, yeah, goodbye. Accretion, rock, boulder, face. As the Dragon Blade now is going to come out by Anho, getting a lot of damage onto that D.Va mech, but the self-destruct is going to get some, no follow-up actually, surprisingly. But at this point, 5 minutes and 30 seconds to go this last way to the Golden Box victory is quite a time bank for East.
Now they're just pushing forward here. It's gonna be a very large hill right now for the West to climb to even have a chance at holding here, Rich. 5 minutes is a time bank I don't think I've seen going into this third point of Numbani in quite a while. Only in my ranked games do I see something like that, and usually I'm on the bad end of it. So
I see it in quick play where it's just people, you know, that quick play. Zemrit on this high ground looks to compete against the Tracer play from Chopper. Will look to stick close towards that payload. The Meteor Strike is going to come out. Since the health value did get about half, will generate a decent shield here if can land on a few. PGI also going to get a nice ultimate once again with the whole hog, but the sound barrier allows a decent prevail from Noctis for West to hold in this choke point. And as I said earlier, this is a difficult position to push through, but despite my saying that, East is still actually getting some decent picks.
They're getting the picks. They also have the heals coming out from Nolan Corona. They're doing so much. Are these DPS? And I think here, Rich, it's going to be just last rites for the West side. Are they going to be able to touch the cart? There's a Reaper TP. Fades away just in time. He's going to stay alive.
And with this still Golden Box of victory, just under 3 meters, this is the final hour. West moving back onto this point, having the Zarya, gonna throw the grab out from Pure. Is there a follow-up, though? That's the difficult spot to be in, especially when you've already got the numbers advantage in favor of East. 6 versus 4. The Flux comes out to secure no one can touch this point. It's truly only Chopper dashing around this payload to keep it alive, but it will not be enough, and that is going to be East taking this second map in this first to 3.
Well, I didn't see a lot of that map, Rich, but from what I saw, that looked pretty convincing from East, and also from what I saw in the time bank just in general, it looked like East who had that in the bag. This is what we didn't see. This is PG1 in the back line with the whole hog. Oh no, my summer children. And then, whoo, that's a nice little hook right there to end.
Yes, it
That's
is.
that's some classic Roadhog play I haven't seen. I heard like some snizzle nose in the background there.
And it looks like it's going to be Rialto next. There was a quick decision on that between these two teams. I mean, my goodness. You know, normally there's a little bit of contemplation in knowing where you're going to go next, but at this point it's like, nah, we just know. We want to get into it. West says, all right, we're going to make sure that we can get this reverse sweep because we're now going into a match point. And honestly, what do you think that West could do? I know you missed a little bit of it, but some of the parts that I talked about is where they were a little bit uncoordinated, where there was some staggers, there was a little bit of overzealous play. What else do you think in seeing that last little stretch as well now on the defensive side that West could do to really try and turn this back into their favor?
Yeah, I think target selection is also something I'd like to see a little bit more of from West. Obviously, I didn't see a lot of the last map, but I did see some of it. And a lot of the time, like East was getting away with murder a lot of the time with their DPS, like they were in the back, like that one point that I did see where Anho literally was in the spawn of West and didn't die for like a whole minute. Like that sort of stuff is like, just let him go. It's fine. You don't need to kill him. He's the Genji, you know? It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Just go onto the cart, win the fight where they don't have the DPS advantage.
I mean, you know, we talked about it. Genji be Genji, and Genji be God. So
Genji.
Yeah, it's Genji all day. And as we go into this potential final map, again, match point, it will be West on the attack first with East. Now, on the defense, feeling confident here. We've got these few seconds to see what the composition is, and it looks like it is going to be a Hog and a Sigma duo for the tank lineup.
Okay, this is truly one of my ranked. I have to believe, like with what I'm seeing right now, this is it has to. There's no way.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking for the Roadhog to get those early environmental kills over the bridge. Whether it's, I mean, PG1 has been honestly killing it on this Roadhog, to be very honest. But you're gonna now be on this defensive position, and I would be scared if I was West.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that like for West, if they come out with what they're running right now, which is basically almost a rush composition, it's a rush composition. They are gonna be able to just run over East here if they use all their cooldowns accordingly, and if Light kills Anho right off the bat, so that's not bad. But there's a nice hook, and he gets the hook on the pair. PG1.
Oh my! When we talked about it, we said PG1 was looking to use it early onto this bridgeway and manages to get it, and it's a 1-for-1 exchange, and you're going to actually have East play very respectful here, going into that courtyard and waiting to see where Light's specifically going to position themselves and how they transition into this courtyard.
East 100% does not want to take a full fight on the cart right now. They want to wait till all their disruption abilities are available. Anho going down, again, isn't good. I'm pretty sure they might have passive ult charge at this point because they've died first in both of these fights, and this is looking, Rich, like it could just be a free first point for West, especially if Light keeps playing as well as they have been throughout this.
I mean, it really is looking that way. These staggers have truly brought down East on this defensive side. Another pick going to come out onto PG1, and it's almost like we see a complete swap of character from both of these teams.
And no, not on the cart, unfortunately, are East, but they do get some kills on the way back. And now West, 5 minutes and 20 seconds in their time bank, and they're just going to keep pushing the cart. They don't really care where East is in their backline. They're just going to be like, the cart, that's our home. This home is mine, and we're going to stay there.
This home is my home. It's Western's home now. I'm trying to make this work, and it's really not, but that hook will.
I appreciate the attempt, though, Rich, and that's what I really like about you, is that you're willing to do those.
I'm willing. Yeah. Roll the dice. Hopefully you're getting boxcars, but getting snake eyes. You just got PG1 now on this high ground here, managing the stairway, but gonna have a really difficult time. Honestly, like I said, Eastern needs to really refocus right now against West.
Oh, and then PG1 isn't actually gonna die. They're gonna live, so that May Blizzard gets not as much value as I think it would have liked.
No, not at all. And you've got an Earth Shatter down on the low ground with no real value up front. You've got Akash able to at least get an environmental kill here. But the fact of the matter is it's still numbers advantage for West. They're constantly competing against this. East is coming in with super long staggers, and I'm not surprised at this at all.
East going to switch PG1 over to the Roadhog. The Roadhog not getting as much value. Basically just an ultimate charge battery for Pure at this high charge. So now here comes the tactical visor from Anho. Let's see what it can do.
Is it going... Well, with a sound barrier to respond, it will not gain much, to be honest, especially when you've got Pear on that back line with the Wrecking Ball doing some serious work. And I feel like East kind of just took a vacation.
Yeah, maybe they're, maybe their monitors aren't... Possibly.
Maybe not.
West is in their spawn right now. Oh, sneaky play. The sneaky play. They don't know. They don't know. They lack the critical information, Rich. They do not know that Light is here.
It's a trap!
Chopper. Oh, no. Oh, not like this.
Light's gonna sneak in from the backside, going right onto 2. You've got the double. Here's the triple Light, bringing brightness to the back line of West. Or correction, East, and I mean, my goodness. Team kill, ding ding. There's the bell.
West is just walking through this Rialto map here, Rich. East have to make some desperation stalls right now. The Reinhardt comes in. It gets immediately blown up.
And with this numbers advantage here for West, can anyone from East even touch? You've got Chopper on the side of West going to do some push-ups in the corner in the tactical one-arm flex. And I mean, is this a hustle?
That was
is this like a bait and switch? Is this something? Is like what happened? I think they heard our comment about East Coast, Best Coast, and my line about West Coast, Wind Coast is starting to rise to the top.
Are we sure we didn't switch sides? Production? Are we 100% sure? Okay, no. I am hearing in my ear that this is indeed the right team. That is okay. Okay. So maybe this is a hustle. It is possible.
They wanted to bring us to a map 5, friend. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, like I mean, let's be real. Let's look at this analytically. The fact is that West just came out so hyper aggressive, more than we saw them even in control point. And found some seriously early picks with that Widowmaker, and it literally, in the grandest of terms, snowballed.
Yeah, and then Pure was basically farming both of their tanks by themselves almost entirely. Had so much charge, and against Roadhog Sigma, you're going to be gaining a lot of Graviton Surge charge, and it's going to be getting a ton of value from that Zarya. And for West here, we see the Symmetra on defense, actually, with the Mei and the Rush Comp, and for East... Oh, don't do this. Don't toy with my heart like don't toy with my heart. They aren't actually going to run the pirate ship here, are they?
You said it on Control that we saw the flash of the Bastion, and now on Unreal, so we get to see it come to fruition. As we will see this pirate ship, maybe Zemrit not actually committing to this and actually going to hold a backline position until there's an opportunity to get back onto it.
He's just playing Sentry Turret Bastion mode. See, kills Noctis easy as you like. That's a healer down, and they don't have the speed anymore, Rich.
Ooh, and the wall's going to at least get a nice block from some sidelines, but the fact that there's a rotation coming out here from East to collapse on top of it, that's going to be an opportunity to move into this. Chopper does get at least one. Now the reverse wall separation is going to be critical. Anho has to play this very carefully to survive on the front line to give some harass, and now the pirate ship, without its sail, still continues to move on.
They're going to be able to get the straggler. Chopper going to go down not long for this world. Repositioning is this Bastion. As you can see in your screen, Akash just made a charge all the way to the stairs, past your screen, in and out. This wall is going to be destroyed very easily. And East looking to take this first point. Coalescence is here to help them do it.
And, I mean, East now really just wanted to pull out the big guns and say, we can do this too, friend. Nox going to get a nice boop off the end, that environmental kill focus. You've got Noctis still trying to say, I can do some work as well. And we actually talked about this a little bit before the match started about how Pharah has shown its face a little bit into the midst of compositions. And Chopper's going to show it off here from the side of West.
Chopper got 2 big environmental kills. It won't hurt their progress on the point for East here, but nice play coming out from that Pharah player as this Reinhardt is in maybe a little bit over their head.
Absolutely over their head, but is still being able to escape. The supports keep them alive with the Coalescence ensuring that survival, but this Bastion high ground play on the inside nearing that tank configuration is going to be critical, and Earthshatter comes out onto 3 on the backside, and this could be an even exchange right now with the Blizzard finally shutting down this momentum. And as I say that, you're going to have tank configuration come around the backside and clean up any stragglers. Mind you, with an obliterating cannon shot to the back of Sluggo.
I mean, Zemrit jumped over the little wall there from the back. No one expects the flanking tank configuration Bastion, Rich. And you can see already Western making some choices to try and stop this Bastion from having any type of position on that cart. There's a Graviton Surge from both teams, actually.
Ooh, it's going to be quite the pull to both sides, but it actually is going to lean more in favor of East, especially with Zemrit being truly uncontested here and Nox working in tandem. This payload will be able to reach this next checkpoint with still a 5.5, just under 5.5 minute time bank and start moving into these final stages.
It's weird. They're not even playing like pirate ship, Rich. They're just like, they have like this little dinghy or gunboat. That's a huge shatter in the front. Oh my lord. Akash. He gets obliterated for it, though.
You can see the stars over the heads of Chopper and Pear saying, we did it to them. Were we really surprised to see it on the other end?
This is some, like, Tu Brute type stuff,
Anything you can do, I can do better. I'll shatter you when you fist to my face. I have no idea. 4 minutes and 30 seconds, though, still to go with East looking to regroup and compete on this attacking side. Needing to be careful as Light does have this side position to get some damage from the Junkrat behind the shield. Will look to dwindle that frontline defense. But again, this is actually a good position where West can hold here.
There's the tire, though, from Light. We'll see what it can get. Usually gets 1 or 2 kills. Here could be an opportunity to take down the Bastion. Oh, Zemrit annihilates it, though, before it gets any value.
And that's huge when it comes to the Bastion. If there is a lot of space between it, the Blizzard going to come out as well, zoning out anyone that remains from West. The Sound Barrier comes out from Noctis in the back, but it's not going to be enough to keep Pair alive, as Zemrit on this inner corner takes another shot. Light goes down. First the tire, then the Junk himself. With this few meters remaining, the pirate ship now finally is stable. You have this Bastion situated on that cart, and that will be a completion. But with 2 minutes, 30 seconds shy of what West was able to gain.
You know what's weird? It's like everyone's like, oh, Rialto is such a hard map to complete. We just saw 2 teams complete it with more than 4 minutes each of them. So that's an interesting stat line that we're going to be having moving into the playoffs of the Prospect Cup. But both teams, as you know, there was a few patches ago where all the time has moved down now, so each team loses a couple of minutes. So it is 2 minutes for the East and 2 minutes and 30 seconds for the West. And I wonder what we see from both these teams again on the defense for the East. It didn't work out that well from them at the start. See if they make any adjustments. Nope. Or well, East is on offense. So West, let's see if they make any adjustments. They're going to be probably running more of the same thing that we saw them run in that first defense, where it is going to be Light on the Junkrat. Chopper still waiting to figure out what they want to play. Maybe have some more shield break potential, but it's weird as well because the Bastion isn't necessarily playing like on cart. He's kind of just playing in the back line, just shooting from a distance, sniper Bastion.
It's really these unique angles that I don't think West is really prepared for, because originally when you see the Bastion, like you said, it's typically on the cart, but finding those couple early picks and also getting that sightline through those narrow corridors into the courtyard started to open it up, and then now there's a lot more open space for the remainder of the map.
Oh, the trap's not going to work. Unlucky for Light there. Zemrit smart enough to know those plays coming from the Junkrat, but here East is pushing the cart. Again, Bastion's not on the cart. And I think West, with their positioning, has learned a little bit from that, as they're going to basically give the corner away.
Absolutely, and with this pressure forward, Anho on the Mei needs to force the Cryo Freeze and fall back. PG1, though, already getting a takedown onto the counterpart. Pure with that Zarya cannot survive. Minute and 30 seconds still to go. This pick damage just slowly taking down Sluggo on the high ground, and the fact that Sluggo's a little bit out of position, needs to regroup with his front line, who's taking a lot of damage. Light gets taken down by Akash at the front with that fire strike, and now East is in a good position to capitalize on this and continue moving, but the pin absolutely getting that takedown onto Akash is critical to try and even the score. Pair drops down below, using every ounce remaining of that shield to survive with the support from Noctis in the back. And the fact is that East is still keeping applied pressure with this cart.
Oh, but Zemrit is there. He's set up now on that Bastion. He can just, this is a shooting gallery right now for him. They have to play this so carefully.
Oh, and with that back line, going to have the Blizzard coming out to try and prevent anyone from reaching that payload to make sure that this checkpoint is reached. Coalescence from Sluggo and from Nolan, but it will not really gain any value on either side. And at this point now, East is still continuing to just draw out this fight and keep the payload pushing. 30 seconds now to go, and quite a distance has been obtained.
Getting that first point is actually really good with 2 minutes for East. They can push it now. They have some snowball to push it through this second point. Chopper, again, has made the decision to go over to the Genji this time, but here we go. Flanking Bastion. Are they ready for it this time? They are.
Oh yeah, they're playing a lot further back, so no early advantage or pick onto Sluggo a second time around. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. The overtime comes through, and you've got now PG1 on this high ground. You need to be careful, but has a high energy charge and looks for the grab in the corner. Is there enough damage to follow up? With the Sound Barrier from Noctis will help prevent and mitigate some of the damage, but there is just way too much to do any other.
Chopper is able to get Zemrit, though, but I don't think it'll be enough. PG1 is so high charge right now, melting. Just an absolute microwave right now, melting through the health bars of everyone on the West and East. Could possibly here, Rich, get another completion on Rialto. Who would have thought that you'd ever be in a position where you see 2 full completes on Rialto? Not me.
I mean, especially when you're in overtime. And this is also match point, so they want to make sure that they solidify this with a 3-0 score to demonstrate their dominance in this, and they want the completion. This middle high ground still being maintained by West. The rotation from Pear on the high ground with the Fire Strike in the back is going to be a little severed now, especially with the Coalescence. Pin comes in from the side as Akash does go down. Pure finds the kill with that extra damage as Sluggo reinforces anyone that still remains from West to press on into this, but the Blizzard from Anho could be the defining factor to change this momentum back. It was in good favor to West, but instantly shifted by that maximum Blizzard.
We see that Zemrit has actually switched over to the Torbjorn now. Nox is down, so that's some healing. That's not going to beat her. They need to deal with this Junkrat or else he's going to tear them apart.
Absolutely, and you have to make sure that you focus it down. Does go down exactly as you called. Anho finds light. With these still overtime continuing, the grab comes through, Shatter as well. A Dragon Blade from Chopper could be the defining factor to stop this payload's movement. Overtime still holding on, but as the numbers dwindle, this overtime wick will be blown out instantly. And there it is, right in the archway. No round full completion, but still a heck of a distance obtained.
Especially with only 2 minutes, that was what I really was looking at, Rich, is that they only had 2 minutes to do that, and they got it all the way, basically 3/4 of the way to the end. That's pretty good for East, and for West, they have only 30 seconds more, so not too much of a difference in terms of the time bank from both these teams. And again, this is the match point, so East, you have your win condition set, and West, you just need to get it at 72.13 meters, and you are going to be able to take this to a map 4. See what both these teams decide to do. East still not sure what they want to do on the defense. I mean, West, if they come out with this is very much like an anything you can do, I can do better type thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, you're gonna run Bastion? No, we're gonna run Bastion. We're gonna try and beat you with it. And East, not using the Bastion on defense, so we'll see a difference from them.
And hopefully you're gonna see Pear and Pure sticking close to Chopper, just saying up front to Chopper, "You're good, you're good, you're good, you're good."
By the way, Pear and Pure is a really sounds like a body wash. Really nice body wash, like Pear and Pure.
Pear and Pure, brought to you by Elo Hal.
Yeah, make it happen.
It's our new body spray. Pear and Pure, bringing you freshness and lovely sweetness at the same time as you've got the sweetness coming out with a hammer kill by Zemrit. That's a sweet one onto Pure. Oh my goodness, 2 minutes already stacking in favor of East.
I mean, I love this from East. They spawn camp them. They know that they're just going to try and milk off as much time as possible here. A Shatter already from Akash. What?
Oh my goodness, there is just not enough defensively to allow West to push out this doorway, and the fact that you've got Anho just sticking in the back, tossing out icicles and walling off the team, there is just no way that West is able to come out of this, and this is back like we were on New Body. You have to have West come out as a full 6 from a different angle to try and compete.
West is just shooketh right now, Rich. Chopper is trying to flank. They don't know where to come out, where to go. Amplification Matrix, but Noctis gets eliminated, and that's a nutty wall from Anho. This is looking disastrous right now for West.
I mean, East realized that East was like, we let West get a completion here, and now they're coming back with a vengeance. There is so much aggression and forward placement that this is going to be, with the last 60 seconds, dire for West to figure something out.
There's the Blizzard, though, out from Anho, so that's good. Now Light can use their own. There's a Barrage that gets 1 kill. Okay, Akash is down, but it's sprayed out from here.
I mean, again, even Exchange, if there is enough kills that come through from this Blizzard, that can open up the window, but Nox in the back with the sound barrier, managing to keep Anho alive, but not enough for the cryo freeze.
Hammer kill.
The hammer kill is taken away. Nox says, no, I don't want you to have it, Zemrit. I'm gonna take it. The lava on the floor, 30 seconds to go, and the final moments still remain.
Desperate swap. Light is switched over to the Doomfist, trying to get just a one-shot kill potential onto any of these characters, and finally, after what feels like longer than just 2 minutes, West is able to break the defense and start pushing out of their own spawn. But Rich, Last fight here, 10 seconds left. They're going to have to continue to push this in overtime, and they have a long way to go.
Absolutely, and with those rockets raining overhead, a kill comes through onto Anho, along with the turret being removed. So with East losing that early pick, you need to see them play very defensively to try and regroup as a 6.
Waiting for a regroup, like you mentioned, from East. Anho goes down, so that means they aren't going to have the Mei. That's a pretty big pick there from Chopper.
I mean, this Pharah play is actually really changing the momentum, and East needs to try and coordinate themselves. These singular picks coming out and Chopper being uncontested on the high ground is causing such a problem for East.
And now you just take a little bit of a deep breath here for West. You finally got out of your spawn, but this is really where the battle begins. You have to stay on cart here. Overtime is ticking. If you're West, you cannot leave this cart at all. You cannot lose a single fight. And on the other side for East, you are going up against a Blizzard from Anho and a Graviton Surge. So that combination, if they just grab Blizzard, could end this immediately right now.
100%, and now you see Light diving in the back early, forces out the Cryo Freeze, could get the kill onto Anho. If it does, the grab is going to be thrown by Pure to lock down multiples as the rockets come out, does get the double, looks for the triple and finds it! This is still West prevailing, the quad comes through by Chopper, they're not out of this yet!
Hashtag winnable for West here, Rich. They can do it. They should probably get the second point without much stall coming out from East, unless they try and make a desperate attempt to stall right here, but it looks like they're actually going to give it up, and they're going to take it for one last fight. Ultimate economy in the favor of East here. Light very low. He needs to not die. This is crucial for him not to die here.
Critical. Absolutely critical. Does get the full health back up and looks now for an engagement to get that extra shield potential to try and stay in the back line. Sluggo leads the coalescence onto the middle high ground as the grab comes out. Sound barrier, Blizzard, everything imaginable to vaporize all of West off the payload. The time is now, and East shall take it. You said it earlier, and it's happening now. East Coast, best coast for this amazing matchup between these two teams.
And East, I mean, they were just giving West hope there. Just like, okay, we're gonna give you a couple of points on this map, maybe get you even to the 5th map, so you have a chance to win. And then they're like, no. I have Grab, I have Molten Core, I have Blizzard. We win the map right then and there. Well played, East, who are your all-star champions here in the Prospect Cup, and they are going to be walking away with a cool $300.
Yes, indeed. Their pockets are weighing heavier than their counterpart. And it was quite... I have to say, like, if West were to come out with that, that was pretty
would have been
brave.
nuts. Yeah,
that would have been nuts. But still, stellar play from both of these teams. Again, voted individuals to come into this. We talked about it being an appetizer like at the start of this. So we're really looking forward to see how these quarterfinals continue through the Prospect Cup. And I mean, it's been a stellar day and quite an exciting one, Kenobi.
Yeah, it's been really good, and now we have to look to the playoffs, where again we talked about it a little bit at the start of the show. These teams were made up mostly of Lunaris, I believe is the name. Yes, Lunaris and Nocturnal were the two teams, and the East is the one who is made up mostly of the Nocturnal players, and it's going to be them who have a little bit of swagger going into that match. They're also going to be a little bit heavier in their wallet.
Yes.
But we'll see if Lunaris in the playoffs, if they're going to be able to, come back with a vengeance. You now have something to fight for, but if you're Nocturnal, you got some momentum on your.
That internal dialogue going into those matches are going to be really interesting to see how that communication goes. I mean, again, they didn't have a full 6, so they've got those two other players for both sides to finally tie it up like a little beautiful present to go into those. But again, it has been absolutely a pleasure being having this entire show here today, being with you, Kenobi, and thank you so much to our production and for you at home that were being able to work with us through the technical difficulties. It is greatly appreciated, and you sticking around and seeing the conclusion of this. And also, we did just want to mention as well that if you're interested, use the command !Pluto Cup, all one word, to find out information on signing up as an individual or with friends for the monthly tournament ran by Elo Hell for their supporters. Want to throw that out there to make sure that you do get those submissions in to be a part of it. And Kenobi, it has been an absolute pleasure. And as always, for all of those viewing out there, take care, happy gaming, and have a lovely evening, friends.